so much that we have undone in downtown and over the Rhine that a huge portion of it is just working to get back to where we were 100 years ago and repopulating the city, bringing back public transportation, connecting people and communities. And so we're trying to build those infrastructures and connections.
The park was just asphalt, broken pavement, rotten lumber, lots of people hanging out here to deal drugs. Wanted a place where people felt like they could relax, where they could potentially garden if they wanted to, and a place that they could be proud of and say, this is our neighborhood, we created this, we take care of this.
I grew up out in the periphery a little bit, but I have since lived all over the world, and seeing those cities ignited in me the sense of what city and place really is and could be. As an architect, it's almost sad and emotional for me to see these buildings falling apart and seeing these communities falling apart, and it being on the National Historic Register, for us to be not just cradling it in every way we can, financially, culturally, socially, to be involved with this historic piece of our fabric is impossible for me to not participate in.
It used to be the old Elder Cafe. It closed about 10 years ago, and it was it turned into a pretty seedy bar at the end of its lifespan. We came in and we saw this amazing 1930s Art Deco bar, and it was just such an amazing space. We went through the city and basically went to every single wine shop that we knew of and asked them if they wanted a franchise.
It took about probably 1.5 years to 2 years of active work to get it to a usable park. Certainly were lots of challenges. Even if you all agree on a goal, there's a lot between here and there. It's always a process. There's never been a project that had a simple solution, but you find people that you can work with, and you keep trying, and you remember that it's small steps. Sometimes it's just a matter of one brick at a time, but as long as you know where they're all going to go eventually, you can get it done.
The biggest challenge with living the visions are that a lot of people just say no. They tell you why you can't do it or tell you not to do it. That's hard. That is hard to overcome because it's the people who love you, and they're saying those things mostly because of their own fear. The very easy answer to how we kept moving forward was one vision, the vision of a completed project. I mean, yes, there was a lot of stuff to do, a lot of organization to continue, but it was achievable.
It always turns out to be much more work than you think it is, but it's just being able to take things, one piece at a time. And it was tough for Jen and I to get through the hard times and, work our butts off to get to the point where we are today. It's not so much about the end goal, but it's about the process, and it's just, that's really helped me, get through the tough times.
My wife and I were married in the park. It's exciting to think about something that really is a relatively small plot of land and know that it can make a big difference in a community. No neighborhood is ever too far gone. The biggest mistake is just giving up on something, because if you give up on the neighborhood, then there's nothing left, and if this goes, so goes Cincinnati.
We ended up with a great tenant. We were able to start bringing people down this way, and instead of just walking straight past a boarded up storefront, now there's wine tastings every Saturday.
With all of the other benefits that our city has to offer, the great sports teams and having all these Fortune 500 companies, downtown Cincinnati is our identity. It is Loveland, it is Montgomery, it is Wyoming. Downtown Cincinnati is our central. It's vital that we take care of our heart.